5 seconds. This statement is a brief report for the information of Parliament on my visits to the US in May 1964 and the USSR during August-September 1964. The object of my visit to the US was to secure material and financial assistance for the implementation of India's 5-year defense plan covering the period April 1964 to March 1969, to which I had made a reference during the debate on the demands for grants of the Defense Ministry in March 1964. There was also a long-standing invitation from the US Defense Secretary to visit the US to discuss problems of mutual interest. I also received later on invitation from the Defense Minister of USSR. I took this opportunity to discuss with the Soviet government various matters connected with the implementation of our defense plan. The task of re-equipping and modernizing our armed forces is a very stupendous one. In order to ensure systematic development of our defense potential in the light of the threat facing the country earlier this year, we prepared a 5-year defense plan. The programs of modernization of the defense forces and improved of facilities for logistic support of the armed forces would call for additional outlays on defense. The increase in terms of internal resources will be of the order of about 10 to 12% over the current level of defense expenditure. But the total requirement of foreign exchange for the defense plan has been assessed at about 3 times the normal allocations which can be made to defense from our own export earnings. The major constraint, therefore, which would affect the implementation of the defense plan is the availability of foreign exchange in time to meet the import requirements of the various constituents of the plan. As the economic development plans require heavy investments of foreign exchange in order to ensure that the progress of India's economic development is not affected, it is necessary to secure assistance from friendly foreign countries for the implementation of the defense plan. I reached Washington on May 18, 1964 and had discussions with the US Secretary of Defense. I also had discussions with the Secretary of State, Mr. Dean Rusk. I also discussed the question of supply of high-performance fighter aircraft for the Indian Air Force, the need for which was established in exercise Shiksha held last year. The US authorities, while discussing supply of such aircraft under the Military Assistance Program, pointed out that the question of introducing another type of supersonic aircraft may have to be studied further. In the circumstances, no final decision was taken. The US authorities offered to send a team of experts to determine whether they could be of assistance in further development of this aircraft and in its production. The team has since visited India and has submitted a report which is under examination. On the question of supply of naval vessels for replacing the overage ships in our fleet, it was agreed that our requirements in this field should first be discussed with the British government. Apart from the grant assistance and credit assistance which the US government have agreed to provide during the fiscal year 1965 and which they are willing to consider for the subsequent years, I attach considerable importance to the fact that the need for strengthening the defense production base in India has been fully recognized by the US authorities, and a substantial portion of the credits already offered will be utilized for modernization of the Indian ordnance factories. During my stay, I visited a number of defense installations and trainings establishments in the US. On hearing of the sudden passing away of Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, I cut short my visit in the US and returned to India on May 18, 1964. A meeting with President Johnson scheduled for May 28, 1964 could not take place. As honorable members are aware, we had concluded an agreement in 1962 with the Soviet Union for establishing production of MiG-21 fighter aircraft. While we have proceeded with civil works and preparation of project reports, it was found that there were several important fields not covered by the original agreement, in which without additional Soviet assistance it would not be possible to establish early production of the aircraft. It is also our intention to explore possibilities of securing assistance in respect of certain other equipments included in the plan. I reached Moscow on August 28, 1964. I had discussions with the Soviet Defense Minister and senior members of the State Committee for Foreign Economic Relations. I had also discussions with the chairman, Mr. Khrushchev. These discussions were most cordial.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.